headed on our way to go see my buddy Chris. He lives about 2 hours away from me. If you haven't watched the other videos, we are working on his drag truck, getting it ready for the Ultimate Call Out Challenge in April. I just want to thank you guys again for the support that you've been showing me in the channel. I got a lot of cool video ideas coming up. I got a lot of feedback from you guys as well for movies that I will definitely be doing as well. So I just want to clear a couple things up, and if you're viewing in for the first time, my first couple of videos, I tried to give you guys a little bit of a background. I have two trucks. They're both black. It's the 2005 and the 2008 that I show all the time. The white truck that I show and reference quite a bit is my brother's white mega cab. Second thing is actually just me clarifying something. So the background story of why this 2008 is not my daily driver anymore is because my daily driver actually has to double for a work vehicle, and I was using this truck for a work vehicle as well as a daily driver for 5 or 6 years, and it got to the point where I was actually between 100 and 200 miles driving this truck a day. So do the math, that adds up pretty quick. But on the same hand, it's not like I don't use this truck for anything besides towing my other truck around, which I think is how I worded it in the other videos. So hopefully that clarifies why this isn't my daily driver. So we're about 20 minutes away at this point. Chris has actually been working on this prior to the last video. Like I said before, I live about 2 hours away, so it's not like I can be here for the day-to-day stuff. So he's been working on it. When we get to the shop, I'll show you guys everything he's been working on and the progress that he's made while I wasn't there, to catch you guys up to where we're at. So we've been at the shop all day. We just wanted to kind of get started. So we've been working all day. We're actually just trying to wrap up the pulling end. So this is what Chris has been working on during the week. This is the one-piece weight box setup that he designed and built. It's all welded up. It's roughly about 1,600 pounds to hang in the front. These are the traction bars that are gonna get welded up here shortly and then mounted. So here's another close-up of the front bars installed underneath the truck. So some of you guys might be asking, yes, they are 3-point tractor links, a complete Heim joint setup with like DOM tubing to replicate exactly what we're doing. Probably would be well into $1,000 for all of the fabrication part. So using these, and you can see just simple square tubing really is a little more cost effective and will do the exact same job. And when it comes off, we won't feel so bad that we didn't waste all that money. And like you saw before in the old video, engine bay still empty. The motor, transmission, and turbo setup should all be here within a month or so, and then I'll come back out and we'll do a full video on that stuff. Chris is going to be running triple turbos, kind of just like on one of my trucks, a little bit bigger version to compete at that Ultimate Call Out Challenge. So I'm going to do a full video on fabbing all those up. So next up on the list of the things that we're going to be knocking out this week is the air to water tank. So you can see here we have these bilge pumps that we'll be using, and then these are going to sit in the bottom of this tank, and then the water is going to flow out through those bungs. The cooler that we don't have yet is going to sit right here, and then the water is going to run through it, and then the hot water comes back up into the top of this, and then it's going to spray down. And this is where you dump the ice in to make the water cold, and then it gets pumped through the cooler that's going to sit right here. So Chris's intercooler piping, when we fab up his triples, is actually going to come from the engine bay into this passenger area and have all this housed right here. This is just another shot underneath the truck. So usually, obviously, the motor's right here. All of the turbo stuff's going to be right here. And then you can kind of see the firewall's a little bare right here. We're going to end up cutting some holes through here and then connecting everything in here to the cooler and the water tank right there. So this is the finished water box. We have the tabs welded up and it's bolted down. All the pumps are installed. So I have this cooler set up. This isn't going to be the one we're going to be using, but I figure I would show you guys and kind of explain a little bit for people who don't exactly know and have never seen water to air setup. So obviously you've seen the tank, you see the pumps in the bottom. Like I said, there's going to be water, then you dump ice on top of there to make that water super cold. The pumps pump it out of the bottom of that tank. You can see down there, they pump out of the bottom, and then they would go into, usually this cooler would be mounted up and down, so the cold water would be coming in through the bottom of this, going through the cooler core. Kind of, you can think of it as a little mini radiator almost, and then comes out of the top and then returns back into the top of this tank. And then from there, obviously the water is not cold anymore. It cools down from the air passing through here and then sprays down on top of this ice to melt the ice. So you can see here, these are the ports that would your intercooler piping would connect to. So here's you know, right out of the turbochargers in here, and then thanks, Chris. This bar is also going to be right in here in the middle one. So if you had a question, yes, there's 2 bars in the outside, 1 bar here in the middle. So the intercooler piping is going to be coming right off your turbos into this one. Air passes through it. They never connect. The air passes through the cooler core and then comes out of this top one and then goes to wherever it would connect to your motor. So that's somewhat of a small explanation of how a air-to-water system works versus a air-to-air. Air-to-air uses the air traveling in front of the vehicle to cool the air circulating in the motor. Air-to-water uses this water box and this cooler to cool the air before it goes back into the intake side of your motor. Generally, obviously, you would never see this in a street application. This is strictly for competition use. Bye-bye. So that's where I'm going to wrap this video up. I know, like I said before, this was a lot of fab work for this video as well. So in a month, we're going to have his turbos and his motor back. So I'm going to be going over all that. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.